Sup gamers, in this video we are going to be shell swapping this blue DS Lite with this sweet custom shell that I've thrown together. It is going to look pretty sweet. This video is going to be a little bit of a longer, more tutorial style oriented video, so if you're looking to get those fine details of how exactly to shell swap all of those nooks and crannies in the DS's, this is going to showcase all of that. I hope you guys enjoy. This is going to be a really sweet shell swap. I can't wait to get this up and running. It's going to look absolutely sick. Probably one of my favorite shell swaps ever. So let's dive right in. So first, we're going to be disassembling this DS. We've got two rubber pads here that we are going to pick off first. Just like that. Now for all of these ice blue shell parts, I'm just going to set them all off to the side because we aren't going to be needing those anymore. Let's get this battery door unscrewed. Take that battery out. We'll set that battery off to the side because we will need that later for sure, obviously. So now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws here. Some Phillips, some Y. Let's take care of them. Okay, so now all of those screws are out. We'll set them off to the side there. So now I thumb here, and I just kind of pry away. I let that open up, and then I get my fingernails in here, and it kind of just comes off pretty easily. Set that off to the side. Our shoulder buttons, I grab them and I just hit them up, pry them up a little bit, and then I take them out all in one piece. Now we will be needing these metal rods with these springs in them, so I will set them off to the side right here. These metal rods love to roll around, so make sure that you have them safe. Alright, so now I always lift up on the Wi-Fi chip. I just yank it. Personally, the wire's never going to get damaged from that. And then I pry up the mic cable, the digitizer connector, and then I pulled this black cable through underneath the cartridge port. Let's take care of this last Phillips screw right here. So now it opens up. We can put our fingers through here and then push, and then the motherboard will pop out. Now immediately I disconnect the top screen ribbon cable with the fingernail, and then it comes off just like that. So now I'm going to remove this bottom screen here from the motherboard. Pull away, it comes off, so we will be using this screen. We need this screen, same for the motherboard. So let's put them both off to the side near our battery. Okay, so now these button rubbers we will be needing as well. Let's make sure they all click nicely. And they do, so that's excellent. So we will also set those off to the side. All these buttons, set off to the side. Let's take care of these two screws for the hinge cover. Alright, so now I like to flip this guy around, pull the mic cable up, and then both cables up like that. And now the top screen we can put through this slit here, and it should pull through pretty easily, like so. So let's take this hinge. We will be using this hinge, but not that blue hinge cover. So now I like to use a sharp metal tool. This one I've obviously loved for a little bit, but we won't be reusing these rubber pads here, so it's okay if we puncture them a bit. Alright, so now we can take care of these 4 screws. Alright, and now we hold it tight, and then we slide our thumbs up and our fingers down. And it should pry out just like that, and then we can pull that top piece off. This top screen is going to be adhered pretty nicely, so I put my finger here, my thumb here, bump it out, and then I use the rest of my fingers here to just continue to help that. We can pull it over, make sure the speaker isn't caught in there. And then we can pull out the antenna. Make sure it doesn't catch onto that ribbon cable. And same for the microphone. We will be reusing these as well. Now the fun part, top screen. I like, see how it moves like this a little bit? I like to keep it up, just to give us more real estate for the ribbon cable itself. And then I twirl it a couple times, eventually twirling it into the metal ring. And I put pressure all around it to make sure it stuffs through all nice. Okay, and just like that, we have our screens, motherboard, all of our components, the button rubbers, all of our screws, the battery. So now, we will be starting with the top inside piece here. This beautiful transparent blue piece. I love this so much. So this top screen border is black. We will be using this one because it's going to match a lot nicer than any other border. So what I do is grab the corner of this adhesive, pull up, set it back down. Do the same for this, except I'm just going to pull it up all the way this time, pull it off. Put that LCD off to the side, it's garbage now. Set that in there, and I like to press around it just to make sure it's actually in, because sometimes the top screen borders, they can look like they're in, but then they're not. And then you have to go back and readjust it. So now for this top screen, I'm taking off the border that we do not want. There's a little tiny dust particle in there, so really quickly, I'm going to try to dust it away. And just like that, it's gone. So now, gonna try to set that back into place. It's not looking too promising. Okay, never mind. It was because of a screen protector. So this top screen has a screen protector on, and it was hanging over the edge a little bit, so it didn't really want to go in, but we got it. So now that the top screen is here with our new top screen border, it's adhered pretty well, so we can take it back off. It's not going to fall off or anything. And now we need our metal ring here. So actually, my bad. We have to look into there. That's where we put our metal ring. So I'm going to take the metal ring off of our old ice blue piece. Normally shell swaps come with one. I honestly didn't check. Nonetheless, that's good. So I'm going to make sure that it fits well with this piece here. Sometimes, okay, so see, that's bad. So it's too big. You can see there's a gap here. That's because this metal piece, it's too wide. So I'm going to go grab a different one. The ones that came with this shell would work absolutely perfectly fine. And speaking of, let me just see if there's one here. Sometimes you just have to kind of force it in there, if you know what I'm saying.
What do you mean by that?
Okay, yep, look at that. All you had to do was actually to force it in. I don't know why I didn't think of that before. So let's grab that out. Let's put the bigger one back in. That's actually what we want. So now, the top screen, we're gonna roll up this cable about 3 times, and then I can grab the connector with my thumb and hold it closed with my pointer, and then just slide it on through while keeping that metal ring in there. Sometimes it wants to slide with it. See, it kind of did right there. Okay, so now I like to plug the antenna in before the mic, just because it's closer, I guess. I don't know, it's just always what I've done. And then make sure you put the wire where it goes. So this one we put in this slot and in this slot. This one's a little tighter, but there we go, it got. So this microphone here, it's a little dirty right there, so we just clean that a little bit. Remove all that dirt. And then I like to set the mic in place and then route the wire while holding the microphone in place. Sometimes the microphone has a rubber surrounding and it can get out of place, which can then make the reassembly a little wacky, actually. It's kind of strange. So that's what I like to do there. Held it in place, that's good. So now, oh, that top screen is coming off, actually. So let's be quick. We don't want that. I don't know why it's doing that, to be honest. So let's fold that down, get that in there. We're gonna make sure this top screen's okay. It's probably the screen protector, so let's remove the screen protector really quickly. Sometimes they get in the way of reassembly. It's over this edge a little bit. So yeah, we're gonna remove screen protectors. Now, screen protectors are obviously awesome because they protect the screen. However, DS Lite screen protectors in particular have such a nasty defect where they can just completely fall apart and ruin the screen lens. So to stop that from happening, you just have to go super slowly. This one is coming right off. Okay, now it's going slower, so we just have to go super slowly. And then we should be okay. There we go. That screen looks brand new. This screen is amazing. Immaculate. So now it should fit over here much better. And it does. Perfect. So now let's route the speaker cables where they go underneath these white stickers. They are not sticky, but at least they kind of still hold them down. If you do not route the speaker cables correctly, sometimes it can make the speaker sound as if it is blown, even though it's not. So if you do that, make sure you check it. Now, let me show you, this is also a really important part. Super minor. You probably wouldn't think that it would be important, but it is. So this speaker right here, it has a super glossy ring to it. This one does not. This glossy ring is more like a sticker. It comes off. You need that. Absolutely need. So I'm gonna go back to this piece. We see this one stuck on. So we just take that off and we move it over to the new shell. Now I'm going to make sure that the glossy side is up. I put this one in wrong. So let's flip it around, glossy side up. That's how it goes for all DSs. I believe, anyway. Most of the ones that I've done. Okay, let's get that speaker in. It looks fantastic. Let's get this other speaker in. These cables are messing with my screws. Okay. And now put both those wires right there. Now we need this black top piece. Set it in there. Slide it back on. Man, this is going to be amazing. I'm so excited for this, actually. So now the hinge, we can put the hinge back in, but it's a little dirty. There's a little bit of white. That's actually just dirt. Can brush that away. Do that for all 4 sides, just to make sure it's clean, especially because it's transparent in here. So now we can put that hinge in place. Let us grab our transparent blue hinge cover. Okay, so with new shells, they're never going to come with a clear piece inside of it. Inside of the hinge cover. They always come with one, but I don't see one right here for whatever reason. I must be blind or something. So I'm going to pull one from another hinge cover that I have. It's going to set that in there, just like that. It is a little loose, but once it's on the actual piece, it won't be loose anymore, so that's okay. Normally it isn't loose on actual authentic Nintendo shell parts, but this is third party, it's different. So let's get this hinge cover onto the hinge. Make sure it's in the closed position. See, if you open it, click, click. So that's the DS basically being in the open position. And then now it's shut closed. So now we're going to take our bottom inner shell piece. Let us route these wires through the hole like this. Sometimes you have to spin the wires a little bit to make them be more cooperative. Okay, so now this will be a little tricky for camera. I usually put this up to my own body to help stabilize it, but I'm balancing it on the desk right now. So we slide the top screen cable through there, and then we kind of pull it through. Excellent. So now we use our screws for the hinge cover. Make sure they are in there nice. So now we can take a look. See how the hinge feels? Damn, look at that. This DS is going to be sweet. Okay. So now I already sorted black buttons here for our console, so I'm going to put the buttons in. It feels a little tight, maybe because of the third-party shell piece, so I will take a look into that after I put them all in, just to make sure that none of them are too tight. Because if buttons are tight, then they will not work right. Yes, this X button. It's a little tight, so I'm just going to have to try to give this guy a little trim. Extreme Rate is a very, very, very good shell brand. If you're going to get a third-party shell, do your DS what it deserves and get it Extreme Rate. This is the first time this has ever actually happened with Extreme Rate.
Day 2. Day 3.
Alright guys, I've trimmed it a lot. You shouldn't ever have to do that. It took a long time, and I don't even think it's right yet. But what I'm gonna do, I'm going to slap a board on here, and I'm gonna open it up and see how the button feels. Okay, it feels totally fine. All right, it feels extremely solid. Dude, bro, this is gonna look sick. Oh my gosh, okay. Okay, so that feels fine. I trimmed it a lot, like I said, but normally for third-party shells that are like $10, $12, normally you have to trim off excess pieces of plastic from when they came from the factory. But for this was totally different. You shouldn't ever have to do that. But okay, I got the button pads on. I route the mic cable through here. I pinch it down through each of the things. And then once I get to here, this part, I put my thumbnail against it and I just yank up very, very hard to bend the cable up like that. That makes reassembly a lot easier for whenever you put the motherboard in it. It just lets you drop the motherboard right into place. Makes it really easy. But now for this screen, I'm going to attempt to take off the border. Yes, okay, that came off super easily. Yank, 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 in small sudden jolts is how you want to take off these screen borders. If you don't, it can pry up the top layer of the digitizer and ruin it, which is not very epic gamer. So now, something I don't need to do, but I'm going to do, this motherboard, the button contacts, they look excellent, but there's still a little bit of grime on them from use over time. So I'm going to sand them down with a drill bit on my Dremel. Okay, now I'm going to wipe away all of the excess dust. Okay, so now we can get this bottom screen installed. Close the flap, get the digitizer installed. Close that flap. So now we can bring this over here. I'm gonna pull this black cable towards me. And then we can put this into place. Push it in and then close that flap. And now, like I said, we can just drop the motherboard in there. Super, super easy. Plug the mic cable in. It's hard to see. I can't. There we go. And now we can straighten out this black antenna cable as much as we can and then put it through. I put it through between this and between this. And then it usually slides through real nice and easy. Now we can grab our Wi-Fi chip, BIOS chip, put it in. I like to hold down the black cable here to keep it all neat while I plug it into the Wi-Fi chip here. Bam, just like that. So now, let's get these two screws in. Alright, so now, let's pop our battery on, make sure everything works. Look at that. This thing is gonna look so sick. All buttons work, the digitizer is perfect. Let's test both of our shoulder buttons. R works. L works as well. Sweet, so this thing is fully functional. Well, we didn't test the cartridge ports yet, but I'm sure they'll work. So now, I do not have the clear blue shoulder buttons, but I do have Nintendo's navy blue ones. They will work just fine. It's gonna look sweet still. So let's get these metal rods in their places right here. To begin shoulder button assembly. So L goes here. So let me show you something here. Really, really, really important. This, whoops, sorry. This metal spring here is different from this metal spring. The top of this metal spring is right here, and the bottom of it is right here. The top of this one is on this side, and the bottom of it is on this side. You want the one. See how there's the top one I'm grabbing and the bottom one? You want that one to be over here, and you want the other one to be over here. If you mix them up, then the shoulder buttons will likely always want to pop out, and reassembly will be a lot more difficult, and then they won't be as springy as they're supposed to be. But we can line the spring up in the shoulder button just like that, and then set it right down on that metal rod. Of course, we have to keep it balanced nicely so that the metal ring doesn't just slide out, because it will. And we set the metal rod in its slots where it goes. So now we put the bottom piece on. However, this one, it's used, it's a little dirty. It's in absolutely amazing condition, but it's still a little dirty on the inside. So I'm gonna brush it and clean it. Okay, so now our stylus holder. I already took the stylus holder off. I actually put it in the other DS that we did. But I'm going to reinstall it. Reinstall the blue one right here. Just like that. So now I'm going to use navy blue volume switches and power switches for this. There's still a little bit of dirt in there I'm going to clean up. Okay. So let's get this power switch in here. Get this volume switch in here. Let's get it on, see what we get. All right, let's get our 3 Phillips screws back in, the one underneath the battery and the 2 up top here. This thing, it just looks so sick. I've never seen such a sick DS before. All buttons work. I mean, we already tested them, so we know they work. But okay, so let's get the Y screws back in. Pop one right there. I like to put the dirtiest screw underneath the battery door just because it's, you know, hidden that way. Excellent. So now we do need a battery door. We will get that, but right now we have these rubber pads that stick on here. All right, let me go find a battery door. There's actually one right here. Let's make sure it's all clean and that the battery compartment is all clean. Slap it in place. Get it screwed down. Awesome. So now we have our GBA slot cover. However, we gotta make it look amazing, okay? So I'm going to take the PCB from a pretty beat up slot cover already. If you don't have a PCB, that's totally okay. You really don't need one. But it just makes it look a lot cooler in my opinion. So I can take the PCB out of here. It's stuck down pretty nicely actually. That doesn't normally happen. Yeah, look, it was stuck. Okay, that's fine. Put it into here. Put this on top, slide it shut. And now we're gonna see if we can reuse this Y screw from the Nintendo GBA slot cover. Okay. It went a little too far, so I wouldn't recommend that, but now that slot cover looks incredible. We got this transparent blue stylus to match. And that is not it, because we still need to get the 4 screws back in here. All right, so let's go scavenger hunting for these rubber pads. Alrighty. Ah man, this is looking sick. It's got the finishing touches right here. These longer rubber pads up top. Voila. Let's get these screens cleaned up. Let's make sure the rubber pads stay in place. Sometimes they like to fall out, so I like to bang it shut gently, but a bang. And nope, they're all stuck on real nicely, so that's excellent. So now we can clean the screens. Guys, this thing is looking absolutely sick. It's just so cool. Well guys, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, leaving a like, commenting. It helps the channel out a bunch. I really appreciate it. If you'd like to see this DS's sister be built, I have another video of this on my channel. Also looks really cool, but I really like this one.